This is part 1 to What If Naruto Became a Child Again. Current Hokage Naruto is suddenly placed back in time into his 5-year-old self, with his current knowledge, strength, and abilities. Naruto also has the full 9 tails, therefore Minato does not have half. Naruto's strength will be power scaled correctly, unlike in Boruto, where it's very inconsistent. Naruto thinks of this as a chance to fix everything that's happened in the past, and also gain more strength for future threats. Naruto's base is strong enough to fight all the future and current Kage, and Naruto can technically beat all the Kage with relative ease in base. Naruto's first mission that he created himself was to stop the Uchiha massacre. Naruto, by acquiring a mask, transforms into a tall man and conceals his true form. Naruto knows the truth about Itachi and confronts him. Naruto looks at Itachi, signaling for him to follow him. Naruto calls him outside the village, and Naruto begins. Itachi Uchiha, I'm going to be blunt. The Uchiha coup needs to be stopped. However, you can't kill the clan. Itachi then says, you. Who are you? And how do you know everything? Naruto then replies, it doesn't matter who I am. However, I will help. Itachi, who is getting slightly frustrated, tries to put Naruto in a genjutsu. However, due to Naruto being a perfect Jinchuriki, it doesn't work. Itachi then activates his Sharingan and throws a punch at Naruto. They seem to go straight through him. However, it was just Naruto moving so fast that it looked like he was standing in place. Naruto then tells Itachi his plan whilst he is being attacked. Itachi, the ringleader, your father, will be shown what happens if he tries to oppose the leaf. Itachi carries on, attacking Naruto to no avail. Naruto then continues on, saying, just like this. Naruto then grabs Itachi's face and plows it into the ground, which knocks Itachi out. Naruto then uses medical ninjutsu, or the basics that he knows, to heal Itachi. Itachi wakes up and decides, as he has just been easily defeated by this man, fine, I'll help you. What do I need to do? Naruto then replies, take Fugaku out here, and I'll take it from there. Itachi nods, and Naruto says, tomorrow, midday. Naruto then uses body flicker to return into the village. The next day, Itachi brings Fugaku out of the village to Naruto. Naruto jumps out of a tree and says to Fugaku, hello, Mr. Fugaku. Let's get straight to the point. If you try to start a coup, your entire clan and yourself will die. Fugaku says to Itachi, what is the meaning of this, Itachi? Itachi then says, Dad, he is way stronger than anybody else in this village. He's definitely not lying. Naruto then continues on. Itachi, don't get me wrong, I won't kill the clan, but 2 people will, if this coup isn't stopped. Many words after are spoken, and Fugaku ends up trying to attack Naruto. Fugaku then activates his Mangekyo. Naruto then sighs and says, the Mangekyo won't help you. Naruto then speeds behind Fugaku, too fast for him to notice. Naruto then swipes his legs and knocks Fugaku to the ground. Naruto then says to Fugaku, I suggest you take my advice. I'll talk to Lord Third. Fugaku nods as Naruto disappears. We skip to Naruto walking towards the Hokage's office, and then moves incredibly fast to get into the Hokage's office behind Hiruzen without anyone knowing. Naruto then says, Lord Third, we have something to discuss. Hiruzen then, startled, turns around and swings his arm in a chopping motion. Naruto just disappears and reappears in front of the desk. Hiruzen then asks, who are you? Naruto then thinks to himself, Lord Third is someone who can be trusted, and he shows his true identity. It's been a while, Lord Third. Naruto smiles at him. Hiruzen gasps and says, Naruto, why are you here, and how did you move like that? Naruto replies, we need to discuss something. As for your other question, I won't be answering it. Hiruzen then sits down and says to Naruto, so Naruto, what do you want to talk about? Naruto replies, the coup. Hiruzen widens his eyes as Naruto continues on. I suggest you relocate the Uchiha to near the middle of the village, as well as allowing them to keep their current grounds. The middle of the village isn't being used currently. I've spoken to Fugaku, and I suggest you take my advice. However, Fugaku does not know my identity. Hiruzen then replies to Naruto, Naruto, you know I can't do that. Naruto then replies, listen, the Uchiha are one of the strongest clans in the Leaf, and make up a large part of its forces. If you do this, the Uchiha will not get massacred. I will not name by who, but it will happen. Hiruzen then replies, okay Naruto, I'll bring it up with the Leaf Committee. Hiruzen then calls a meeting for the next day. Later on that night, Naruto transforms again and puts on his mask. Naruto then blitzes to where Danzo is. 1 second, Danzo was alone, and the next a blade was held against his neck. Naruto whispers in Danzo's ear, a meeting tomorrow. You will agree to everything that Lord Thurs says, or you won't survive. Sweat drips down Danzo's head as he is frozen in fear. He can just sense that this man will kill him no matter what he does, even if he uses Izanagi. He will die eventually. Danzo replies in a fearful tone, I understand. Naruto then uses body flicker to disappear. The next day, the meeting goes smoothly, and Hiruzen gains the authority to allow the Uchiha clan to move. Later on, Naruto visits Danzo, where Naruto is disguised. He stands face to face with Danzo and says, glad you chose to obey my orders. I will maybe see you never again. Just don't cause trouble for the Leaf. Naruto then uses body flicker to disappear once again. For the next 3 years, Naruto trains his weak points, which are medical ninjutsu, taijutsu, genjutsu, and logical thinking. Though he has gotten better at logical thinking over the years, it's still a weakness, therefore he trains himself in critical thinking as well as logical thinking. Naruto decides it is necessary to pretend he is weak, as he still wants to be on the original Team 7. Naruto is more liked, as he doesn't do pranks anymore and shows respect to Iruka and Hiruzen. Now, this doesn't mean the villagers don't hate him, they still hate him a lot. However, Iruka doesn't mind him and treats him to ramen every once in a while. Naruto also makes sure not to get rusty, as there is always a possibility of something that isn't meant to happen happening. 4 more years pass as Naruto progresses his genjutsu skills, taijutsu skills, logical thinking, and medical ninjutsu. Naruto also polished off all of his other skills too. Naruto now purposely fails his last exam as he knows of Mizuki's intentions. Naruto acts naive and goes along with Mizuki's plan. Naruto waits for Iruka. Finally, Iruka finds Naruto and says to Naruto, why would you steal the scroll ceiling? Naruto then replies calmly, it's a trap. Mizuki thinks he'll be able to steal the scroll from me. As Naruto says this, Mizuki arrives and tells Naruto to give him the scroll. Naruto doesn't give it to him, and Mizuki starts telling Naruto, Naruto, the village hates you. The village hates you because you are the 9-tailed fox. Naruto then smiles and says, I know. Mizuki then shouts at Naruto, asking him, how could you possibly know? Naruto then says to Mizuki, would you like to meet him? Naruto then blitzes behind Mizuki. Mizuki then shouts, where did he go? Naruto then says, oh, could you not keep up? Mizuki hears Naruto say this and jumps back. Naruto then forms a Rasengan, and Mizuki shouts, what is that? Iruka is at a loss for words, as Naruto, who hasn't been performing well in the academy, is wielding a Rasengan. Naruto then deactivates the jutsu and blitzes behind Mizuki once again, chopping his neck, saying, as if I'd actually kill you. Hiruzen is watching all of this from afar through his crystal ball and laughs, as Naruto is way stronger than he previously imagined. Iruka then does the same thing in canon and gives Naruto his headband, and Naruto still thinks of this as a wholesome moment. Iruka then treats Naruto to ramen. A few days later, all the new genin are meeting their Jonin instructors. Kakashi is late as usual, and Naruto decides to change some things by trying to interact with Sasuke and Sakura in a friendly manner. He gets a couple answers from Sakura and Sasuke, and then Kakashi enters. Naruto decides not to prank Kakashi, although he does kind of want to. Kakashi tells them all to come to the roof. All the intros are the same. However, Naruto says this more calmly. Kakashi then tells them to be at the training grounds tomorrow and not eat breakfast. The next day, they will arrive, and Naruto asks Sasuke and Sakura about their strengths. Naruto already knows, however, he asks, as he just wants to be able to pass the time smoothly. Sasuke says, "I'm all round good at everything." Sakura says, "I can do genjutsu well and have average taijutsu." Naruto then says, "There's a good chance that this will be a teamwork exercise. I can make a large amount of shadow clones." Kakashi then arrives and explains the test. He then says begin. All three scatter. Naruto then creates 2 shadow clones. Both the shadow clones go to Sasuke and Sakura and tell them this test is about teamwork. There are only 2 bells, however Kakashi Sensei knows that we most likely won't be able to take the bells. However, if we display teamwork, we will pass. Sasuke and Sakura understand. Naruto then explains the plan. Kakashi then notices Sakura walking out of the trees. She runs towards Kakashi, letting out a flurry of kunai attacks. Kakashi dodges them with relative ease, and Kakashi is about to launch an attack on Sakura. When Sakura shouts, "Sasuke, Naruto, now!" Naruto shoots a Gale Palm at Kakashi, and uses enough power to push Kakashi forwards. Sasuke then uses a Fireball Jutsu to burn Kakashi. Kakashi uses a Water Wall Jutsu blocking Sasuke's attack, saying, "Well done, you will pass." Sasuke, Sakura, and Naruto are all happy that they passed. Kakashi then says well done, and the missions start tomorrow. Before Sasuke leaves, Naruto says, "Sasuke, flow chakra into your eyes." Sasuke obliges and notices his Sharingan is active. Naruto then says, "It's as I thought." Sasuke leaves in silence, as Sakura follows behind him. This leaves Kakashi alone with Naruto. Kakashi then says to Naruto, "Naruto, why were you holding back?" Naruto then says to Kakashi, "Was it that obvious?" Kakashi nods. Naruto then tells Kakashi, "Alright, I'll show you. Pull up your headband." Kakashi asks why, and Naruto replies, "I'll show you that the Sharingan doesn't mean that much." Kakashi is surprised that Naruto knows this much knowledge about him, especially him having the Sharingan, as it's always covered. Naruto then goes towards Kakashi, getting ready to run at him. He uses a small fraction of his full speed, around 50 times slower than his top speed, and blitzes Kakashi, who just barely blocks. Naruto says, "Just as I thought. You're as fast as I thought you'd be, Kakashi, but can you keep up with this?" Kakashi then gets serious, and Naruto goes 40 times slower than his full speed and holds a kunai to Kakashi's neck. Kakashi then says, "Okay, I give." Naruto then says, "Kakashi, you're still my sensei, and I will only be holding back unless we're in danger. I don't want to raise suspicion. I want to go on missions with you, Sasuke, and Sakura." Kakashi then says, "Alright, Naruto." Naruto then says, "Just remember, you can still train me, as I don't know some things that you know." Kakashi nods, and Naruto uses body flicker to go back to the village. Kakashi thinks to himself, What an insane kid. They do many D-rank missions, and Naruto tells Sasuke to use his Sharingan through all of them to develop this. This leads to Sasuke having a dual 2 Tomoe Sharingan. Then Naruto, once at the Hokage's office with Team 7, politely requests a higher ranking mission, which Hiruzen accepts. This signals the beginning of the Land of Wave arc. We skip to when the Demon Brothers appear. Naruto weaves hand signs as a water dragon jutsu is launched at the Demon Brothers. Naruto then uses lightning stream on top of this. Naruto tells Sasuke use fire. Sasuke and Naruto jump up and they both use a fire style fireball jutsu. Naruto keeps it relative to Sasuke's size to not stand out too much. However, Kakashi notices just now that Naruto just used 3 chakra natures, and he also used wind chakra from last fight. This means in his mind he has 4 chakra natures. They then continue on the mission. Suddenly Zabuza then attacks and throws his sword. Naruto uses Earth Style Mud Wall to block the attack. Naruto then appears behind Zabuza, kicking him into the mud wall. Haku then appears and realizes Naruto is an incredible threat and quickly takes Zabuza away so they can rethink their strategy. Haku leaves and Naruto says to Kakashi that was Zabuza's teammate. Kakashi nods and decides to train Team 7. Kakashi demonstrates the tree walking and Sasuke and Sakura practice. Kakashi then tells Naruto to come with him. Naruto follows and Kakashi takes him to a different area. Kakashi then tells Naruto, I'm going to teach you one of my jutsu. Naruto nods and is very happy that he gets to train with Kakashi Sensei again. Kakashi in his timeline develops purple lightning way earlier. Kakashi then shows Naruto the technique. Naruto then says, as expected, you've created such an amazing jutsu. Kakashi then says, thank you Naruto, and then begins explaining the basic concept. Kakashi then tells Naruto he will check on his progress at the end of the day. Naruto trains hard all day. A lot of you were wondering why I said Naruto was weak at taijutsu. What I meant was, he doesn't have a lot of technique, but has insane power. Back to the what if. Kakashi checks up on Naruto to see his progress, and Kakashi is surprised that Naruto has already mastered the jutsu. Kakashi asks Naruto how he mastered the jutsu in such a short amount of time. Naruto replies, I used the principle of shadow clones. The knowledge and skills that have been picked up by my shadow clones get sent back to me, so instead of training for 1 day, I train 500 days as I use 500 clones. Kakashi is extremely impressed by Naruto's knowledge. Naruto then continues on saying, Lord Second wrote a book explaining the principle of all clone jutsus and how to optimize them. I took Lord Second's knowledge and then optimized that as it wasn't completely correct, and applied the perfect amount of chakra to train sustainably. Kakashi is impressed as he realizes Naruto is not only a prodigy, but also an extremely hard worker. We skip to the day of the bridge attack. Naruto fights Zabuza and lets Sasuke try to handle Haku. Naruto deliberately doesn't try to kill Zabuza, as he knows Haku's loyalty. Sasuke unlocks his 3 Tomoe in one eye, and is fighting slightly below par, but keeping up well enough. Naruto makes a shadow clone to help Sasuke. This clone holds back a lot, and just hurts Haku enough so Sasuke can beat him. Suddenly, Gato's gang arrive and tells Zabuza the deal is off. Naruto then says to Zabuza, alright, no need to fight now. Zabuza says, you're right, I think I'm going to kill this entire gang. Zabuza then charges at the entire gang and slaughters them all. Haku is still alive in this timeline, and the bridge still gets called the Great Naruto Bridge. But as a change, Zabuza and Haku are regarded heroes of the Land of Waves. Naruto tells Zabuza, don't go evil again or it will end bad for you. I'll make sure of it. Zabuza nods as he fears Naruto slightly. This is part 3 to what if Naruto was a child again. We left off with the Land of Waves arc finishing, and Zabuza and Haku surviving. When Team 7 get back to the Leaf Village, Kakashi is called into a meeting. After that meeting, he calls Team 7 to meet up. He then tells them that they have been offered a place in the upcoming tuning exams. They all agree to sign up, and this begins the tuning exams. A few weeks later, the tuning exams begin, and the written test starts. The same thing goes with Team 7 passing. However, Naruto does good on this exam and gets 100%. At this point, Anko jumps in and immediately announces the Forest of Death exam. She brings them all to the Forest of Death and gives them all scrolls. The Forest of Death exam then begins. Everything goes as usual, up until Naruto gets attacked by a snake. Naruto looks at the snake and uses purple lightning to completely obliterate it. Naruto then looks up and says, "Orochimaru, no need to hide. Show your identity. I know you're here for Sasuke. You intend to use him as your puppet." Orochimaru then looks at Naruto and says, "Who are you?" Naruto then passes his consciousness over to Kurama, and Kurama says, "I'm your worst nightmare." Kurama then gives Naruto back control of his body. Naruto then uses a percent of his speed in base and speeds at Orochimaru faster than he could even see and kicks him through a tree. He then uses his Rasengan beam to almost finish Orochimaru off. This makes Orochimaru have to retreat immediately. Sakura and Sasuke are looking at Naruto in utter amazement, as Naruto just displayed incredible strength. They said that beam jutsu he used was absolutely amazing. They couldn't tell it was a Rasengan, as Naruto wasn't facing them when he used it. They then rush to the middle of the forest. When they reach the middle of the forest, some ninja are waiting to ambush them. Naruto and Sasuke proceed to blitz them and enter the stadium, an hour after Gaara's team. A while later, the other teams arrive, as the preliminary rounds are announced. Sasuke vs Sound Ninja goes a lot different, as Sasuke does not have the curse mark. He does the same Taijutsu barrage as in canon. However, he does this almost immediately, destroying the opponent. Next is Sakura vs Ino, and Sakura wins as she is about 10% stronger than her canon self. Next is Gaara vs Lee. Everything goes the same, until Gaara is about to crush Lee's leg. Naruto speeds towards him before Guy could, and swipes away the sand as if it were mist, and creates a Rasengan and aims it towards Gaara. He then shoves it past Gaara's head, narrowly missing, and creating such a huge shockwave that dents on the other side of the stadium could be seen. All of the Jonin of the Leaf immediately stop Naruto, thinking that Naruto was about to kill Gaara. Everyone in the stadium is speechless after watching Naruto, the person who was meant to be weak, move so fast that even the Jonin couldn't keep up. Naruto then deactivates his Rasengan and says, "Move." Hearing Naruto's commanding voice, the Jonin take a step back, as for some reason they sense Naruto's suppressed strength. Naruto walks towards Gaara and whispers to him, "Meet me later, I'll rebuild your seal." Gaara's face stays neutral. Naruto then continues, saying, "I know about Shukaku, the One Tails. I'm just like you. Just know that you can make friends." Gaara's face then becomes pale as Naruto walks away, saying, "It's up to you." Kakashi follows Naruto and asks Naruto what he said to Gaara. Naruto decides to answer truthfully and says, "I plan to add an extra seal onto him, sealing the One Tails properly, as the seal right now will break if he sleeps." Kakashi is shocked, but then asks Naruto, how will he seal it? Naruto then says he will use the 5-element seal. Naruto then shows his hands with the 5 chakra natures on each finger. Kakashi then says okay, as he knows Naruto is already extremely strong, as he goes off to watch the other matches. Naruto patiently waits for Gaara, as he suddenly appears, and he asks Naruto, friends? How will I get friends? Naruto smiles at him, and Naruto says, just accept people. Gaara, why don't we be friends? Gaara is shocked and nods, happy for the first time since he was with Yashimaru. Gaara then asks Naruto, my one friend, please help me. The tailed beast, he's trying to take over me, please help. Naruto obliges and uses the 5-element seal to tightly seal the One-Tails. Naruto then says, try to make friends with the beast. They can be nice, if you manage to make them accept you. Gaara says, I see. Thank you, my friend. May I ask you one thing? What is your dream? Naruto then replies enthusiastically, I will become the greatest Hokage, Naruto Uzumaki. Gaara smiles and says, I wish you luck, Naruto. Gaara then leaves, and Naruto then remembers it's his match now, and rushes to the stadium and jumps down ready to fight Kiba. Kiba is extremely happy that he gets to fight Naruto, who he assumes to be the weakest. Kiba tells Naruto, Naruto, I'm going to win, as Akamaru transforms into him. The proctor then says go. Kakashi lifts up his headband to try see Naruto's movements. Naruto uses 1% of his top speed and moves too fast for anyone to see. However, Kakashi gets small glimpses of Naruto, as to see Naruto chopping the neck of Kiba and Akamaru knocking them out. Everyone in the stadium is speechless once again at Naruto's incredible speed, precision, and power. Shikamaru says, how is that speed even possible? That Naruto, he's strong. The preliminaries are now over, and the 1-month training period begins. Kiba is knocked out for the next 2 weeks, and Kakashi tells Naruto that due to his skill being above his own, he will be trained by someone else. Kakashi then tells Naruto to go to the hot springs, and he will find the man. Naruto goes to the hot springs, looking for Jiraiya, as he knows that the man Kakashi is talking about must be Jiraiya. And unlike in the original, Jiraiya is waiting for Naruto, instead of peeking you-know-where. Naruto then asks Jiraiya if he is his new sensei, pretending he didn't know already. Jiraiya nods, and Naruto is really happy to be with his teacher once again. And thus, Jiraiya's 1-month training period begins. Naruto signs the summoning contract on the first day, as he summons Gamabunta easily. He then takes Gamabunta's trial and stands on top of his head easily for an entire day. Naruto is then taught a combination of jutsu with his toads, and then he mastered that within 2 days. Jiraiya is impressed and tells Naruto that he is going to teach him the Rasengan. Naruto is happy, not because of the jutsu, as he already knows it, but because he's realised that once again he is training with his father figure. Jiraiya shows Naruto all the steps, and Naruto completes each step first try, and within 5 minutes he shows Jiraiya a complete Rasengan. Jiraiya is absolutely amazed at Naruto learning the Rasengan so easily. Jiraiya then teaches Naruto the giant Rasengan, which Naruto immediately learns. Therefore, Jiraiya resorts to teaching Naruto the fire-style Fireball Jutsu, which takes Naruto about a day to learn. Jiraiya, who is amazed at Naruto's raw skill, then teaches Naruto Water-style Dark Swamp. This took Naruto 10 days, and this is how the training period ended. The Chunin exam elimination rounds then begin. First is Sakura versus a sound ninja. It's a hard fought battle, but in the end Sakura loses, being about 25% of her canon self. Next up is Naruto versus Neji. The fight starts off with Neji rushing at Naruto, throwing a barrage of Tenketsu blows. Naruto dodges all of these with ease. Naruto then lightly kicks Neji, which sends him flying towards a wall. Naruto then runs at Neji at speeds similar to Kakashi at top speed, and Neji uses rotation, but Naruto infuses his arm with wind chakra, turning his arm into a blade, as he overwhelmed Neji's rotation. Naruto then spin kicks Neji very lightly into the ground, which knocks him close to unconscious. However, with sheer willpower, Neji stands and rushes at Naruto using the 64 palm technique. He then further pushes himself to the 128 palm technique. Naruto dodges every shot with ease, and as Neji throws the last attack, Naruto catches it with his hand. Neji shouts at Naruto, telling him to accept his fate, and his destiny must be to lose here. He is a failure, and he will always be a failure. Naruto then whispers to Neji, "Destiny can be changed," as Naruto swipes his legs and points a kunai at his neck. The proctor then says it's Naruto's victory. Next up is Sasuke vs Gaara, which goes similar than in canon. Just Sasuke, with his fully matured Sharingan, injured Gaara easier and won the fight. This starts the Leaf Invasion. Naruto summons 1,000 shadow clones to protect citizens. Sasuke also helps fend off the Sound Ninja, as Sasuke in this timeline is a lot stronger. Naruto then runs to where the purple barrier is. Orochimaru and Hiruzen are fighting inside. He walks up to the barrier, puts his hands on it. Naruto then grabs the barrier and shatters it. Orochimaru is shocked and shouts, "But how? This barrier, it's meant to be invincible." Orochimaru then proceeds to use the reanimation jutsu, summoning the first two Hokage. Hiruzen then begins combating the two when Naruto walks towards Orochimaru. Naruto then blitzes past Orochimaru with sheer physical strength, rips off Orochimaru's arm. Orochimaru then screams bloody murder, as he is in immense. Due to your recent achievements in the recent invasion of the Leaf, as well as the Chunin exams, I, the Hokage of the Hidden Leaf, hereby declare you Chunin. All three of them get slightly shocked and then bow their heads as they accept the new rank given to them. Later that night, the Sound Five confront Sasuke and tell Sasuke that he needs to come to Orochimaru, and therefore he will gain power far beyond that of his friend. This of course being Naruto. However, Sasuke smirks and replies, "How will someone who lost so badly to that person help me attain that power that is greater than his?" Sasuke then activates both of his fully developed base Sharingan, eyes, and proceeds to destroy the Sound 5. This leaves the Sound 5 immediately activating their Stage 2 curse mark. However, Sasuke still is easily beating them, and is fighting on equal terms. Naruto, who is looking out at Sasuke watching this fight, walks towards the Sound 5 and says, 5 versus 1, have some pride. This isn't a fair fight. Naruto then releases a small percentage of his chakra and scares the Sound 5 so much that they begin to retreat. However, Naruto then blitzes in front of them and says, oh no, don't mind me when I said it wasn't a fair fight. It wasn't Sasuke at the disadvantage, it was you. Naruto then sits in a tree as the Sound 5 begin fighting Sasuke again. However, just as Naruto had said, as each minute continued, the fight became more and more clear to see who would win. Sasuke was superior to all of them, and finally, after half an hour of exchanging blows, Sasuke had knocked them all out. Kimimaro and Jirobe were the first to regain consciousness and immediately retreated with the others in hand. As they left, Sasuke collapsed. Naruto catches him and brings him to the Leaf Hospital. Once Sasuke awakens, Naruto explained everything that happened. After this, Naruto and Jiraiya have to find Tsunade, as Hiruzen wants her to become the 5th Hokage, as he is getting old. They stumble across a bar when looking for Tsunade, and they surprisingly see Tsunade in there, drunk. Everything then goes the same as in canon, until Naruto stands up and tells Tsunade to stop ridiculing the Hokage's title. Tsunade then asks Naruto what he's going to do about it. They then take this outside, and Tsunade says that she will acknowledge the Hokage if he manages to hit her once. Tsunade and Naruto then begin combat. Naruto immediately uses Purple Lightning to immediately hit Tsunade. Tsunade then, frustratingly, acknowledges the Hokage title. But then, she says that she knows a jutsu way better than the Purple Lightning he just used. Naruto then asks what it is, and Tsunade says, if you master the Rasengan in 1 week, I'll become the next Hokage. Jiraiya face palms as Naruto smirks and creates a Rasengan. Tsunade then admits defeat and tells Naruto that she'll become the next Hokage. This means that they never meet Orochimaru and everything goes more smoothly. The next week, Naruto is told by Kakashi that Team 7 will disband for the next 3 years. When asked why, Kakashi explains that Sakura has become Tsunade's student and Sasuke is training with Shisui and Itachi to become stronger and hopefully unlock his Mangekyo Sharingan. Naruto then says okay, as Jiraiya tells Naruto later that he will be leaving for a while. Naruto asks to come with, as Team 7 has temporarily disbanded. Jiraiya says okay, and this signals a time skip. During this time skip, Sasuke, Shisui, and Itachi have many spars and almost kill each other several times. This causes Itachi and Sasuke to unlock the Mangekyo Sharingan. They switch eyes between the 3 of them, and all get the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. Sakura masters the 100 healings mark, and becomes comparable to Tsunade in strength. Kakashi becomes 20% stronger than his Warlock self, and Naruto is now 25% stronger than his adult self. 2 months pass. Kakashi defeats Kakuzu, Naruto stops Hidan from killing Asuma, and Shikamaru ends up killing Hidan. Jiraiya appears in front of Naruto, and then tells Naruto that he's going to be on a mission, this of course being the Pain investigation arc. Naruto tells Jiraiya that he'll be coming with him. Jiraiya says no, and Naruto tells Jiraiya that he's stronger than him, and it would be better if they both went. Jiraiya can't argue with this, and reluctantly accepts. When they arrive at the Hidden Rain village, Pain immediately discovers them and they begin combating each other. Naruto holds back and just stops Pain from harming him or Jiraiya. In the end, they beat Pain with relative ease, but Nagato ends up dying from chakra exhaustion. Konan then takes Yahiko and Nagato away. From there, everything goes almost as in canon, apart from Sasuke attacking Danzo, as Danzo never becomes Hokage. Tobi ends up stealing Nagato's Rinnegan and kills Konan. He then invades the Kage Summit and declares war. The war then begins, and as Naruto can control his power, he is allowed to join. Everything goes similar than in canon. However, Naruto's clones destroy Madara in their first encounter. However, when the 5 Kage tell Naruto they will win, this of course is the biggest lie in anime history. Naruto didn't know that the Kage got beaten up in the normal timeline. Therefore, he does the same as in canon and dissipates his shadow clone. The 5 Kage then proceed to get destroyed just like in canon. All the reanimations end up getting sealed. And eventually, later on in the war, Obito gets his mask broken. This is when things begin to change a little. Naruto then begins to fight Obito, and Kakashi gets sucked into the Kamui dimension. And Kakashi is sucked into the Kamui dimension. Therefore, their fight goes the same, and Obito absorbs the Ten Tails and becomes Jubito. Naruto and Sasuke make quick work of Jubito. Sasuke and Naruto are suddenly taken over by Black Zetsu. When they fall unconscious, they are greeted in their subconsciouses by the Sage of Six Paths, who each gives them the same power as in canon. Naruto now has double the amount of Six Paths power and is able to sever the connections between them and Black Zetsu. When they do this, Madara has absorbed the Ten Tails and fought with Might Guy. Madara then absorbs the God Tree and gets ready to fight Naruto and Sasuke. Naruto holds back as he knows that they will need to eliminate Kaguya later. They fight, and Madara then activates the Infinite Tsukiyomi. Sasuke shields Naruto, Kakashi, and Sakura. Once the moonlight dissipates, Sasuke removes his Susanoo. This is when Black Zetsu stabs Madara and revives Kaguya. Their fight then begins. Naruto is so much stronger in this what if, he immediately blizzes towards Kaguya and lands a giant kick onto her, sending her flying into the ground. He then rushes at her. However, Kaguya uses her Ash Bones jutsu and launches one at Naruto. However, Naruto, with his increased skills and reflexes, dodges this easily. He then slices off Kaguya's arm. Kaguya then switches dimensions and punches Naruto as hard as he can. However, Naruto uses Boil Release to counter this and sends her flying. Naruto then repeatedly attacks Kaguya and then uses a truth-seeking staff to kill Kaguya. From this, Naruto gains the Karma Seal. We now skip to the last, which goes pretty much the same as in canon. However, during this fight, Naruto's hand began to hurt, and then his whole arm. This meant Naruto had to beat ternary with one side of his body. However, due to Naruto being so strong, he only had to use Sage Mode, not even KCM. The curse mark on his hand began to grow. The curse mark on his hand began to grow. However, Naruto knew this as karma. Naruto eventually one-shots Tonari in base, and then Naruto and Hinata begin dating. This eventually leads to them having Boruto and Himawari. Not much changes from here on in. Naruto gains more power from the Karma Seal, though, and through his training, he's able to fully activate the Karma Seal. He also raises Boruto better and doesn't forget Himawari's birthday. The Chunin exams arrive, and Naruto lets the four Kage and Sasuke know that the Otsutsuki will be attacking the stadium. The Kage immediately tell him to cancel the exams. However, Naruto says that they won't attack otherwise, this of course being a lie. Naruto then continues on saying, it wouldn't even matter, we need to get rid of them, so the sooner they come, the better. In this timeline, because Boruto had been trained by Naruto more, he doesn't use the ninja tool. Eventually Boruto beats Shikadai, and Naruto goes down towards Boruto and gives him a fist bump. This is when Momoshiki and Kinshiki and Oroshiki arrive. Sasuke combats Kinshiki, and is a bit stronger than in canon. Naruto blocks Momoshiki's kick, unlike in canon. This causes Momoshiki to sense Naruto as a bit of a threat, as he goes up and takes his pills. He then launches the giant tailed beast bomb. Naruto does the same thing as in canon, however, in this timeline, he lets himself be captured. After Naruto gets taken away, and Boruto wakes up in the hospital, he runs to the Hokage's office where he sees Sasuke and asks about his dad. Sasuke says, I can sense his chakra. He's probably fighting the two right now. Boruto then shouts, we need to save him now, he can't fight those monsters. Sasuke laughs a little and says, your father is a bigger monster than those two combined. Boruto then says, so that means you're also strong like my dad and can beat those two too. Sasuke laughs again and says, yes, I can beat them. However, I don't compare to Naruto. In all the years I've known Naruto, he's never lost a fight. I fought him 20 times myself, and he didn't even need the tailed beast power to beat me. Boruto is shocked. However, the four Kage immediately walk in and tell Sasuke they need to go save the Kage. They need to go save the Hokage. They open a portal and see Naruto wiping the floor with Momoshiki and Kinshiki. They enter and watch Naruto. The two Otsutsuki members eventually fuse. However, Naruto completely dominates this Momoshiki. Naruto has knocked Momoshiki unconscious without the Karma Seal. He then calls Boruto over and forms a Rasengan in his hand and says, Boruto, would you like to do the honors? Boruto smiles a little and then he slams the Rasengan into Momoshiki. This leads to Boruto receiving a Karma Seal. The reason Naruto wanted Boruto to get the Karma Seal is because it would make him stronger in the long run. A few weeks later, after the battle went down, the time travel arc began. Nothing changes until the end, when Sasuke finishes off Oroshiki. He gains the Karma Seal. So now Boruto, Sasuke, and Naruto all have Karma Seals. Naruto decides to train Boruto a little to teach him how to use Karma properly. They train every day until Boruto can activate his Karma at will. This takes around a month. Boruto in base is around 10% stronger than his canon counterpart. However, for the sake of the story, when he uses Karma, he can use 15% of Momoshiki's power. A couple of weeks pass, and they set out on a new mission. This is when they encounter Ao. They begin to combat him, and Boruto gets a good few hits in. Mitsuki then wraps his legs around Ao, holding him in place. Sarada then uses her chakra-enhanced punch to punch him into the ground. Konohamaru is about to finish Ao off with a Rasengan when Kashin Koji appears, stomping on him with his toad. This is when they fight Kashin and Koji. Unfortunately, the same happens in canon, and Konohamaru gets destroyed. Kashin Koji then uses a jutsu to try to finish off Konohamaru, this being fire style toad bomb jutsu. However, this is when Boruto activates his Karma Seal
and absorbs the jutsu. Kashin Koji looks at Boruto surprised, thinking that Naruto Uzumaki killed Momoshiki, but no, it was Boruto Uzumaki. Kashin Koji then wears out Boruto and the rest of the team before he leaves, saying that they showed him something quite interesting. As he leaves, Konohamaru eventually recovers, and they stumble upon Kawaki. Boruto notices his karma seal and says that they should definitely take him back to the village, as he looks like he could be very important. So they do just that and bring him back to the village. Back in the village, Sasuke is called back and Naruto meets Kawaki. Naruto then tells Kawaki, "I'm Naruto Uzumaki, the Hokage, or in other terms, the leader of the village. What is your name?" Kawaki responds with his name, and Naruto begins taking Kawaki back to his home. Suddenly, Kawaki tries to escape. However, Naruto appears in front of him. This surprises Kawaki, who then decides to follow Naruto home. They enter Naruto's home, and they are sitting at the table, when Kawaki thinks he might be able to escape again. So, Kawaki tries to escape. However, Naruto activates KCM2 and Sage Mode, which makes Kawaki think that Naruto may be stronger than Jigen. Naruto in base is 2 times stronger than his canon counterpart. Kawaki then decides to give up, as there is no way he is escaping Naruto. Later on, Naruto and Kawaki are talking, and Naruto decides that he will train Kawaki. Naruto trains with Boruto and Kawaki and is fighting them both 2v1 in base form, whilst Kawaki and Boruto use their karma seals. Naruto can control his karma seal so it doesn't activate when they activate theirs. They do this every day for a week, and by the end of the week, Boruto can use 16% of Momoshiki's power, and Kawaki can use 10% of Jigen's power. Suddenly, Delta attacks. Naruto remembers that she will self-destruct if defeated, and she tried to hurt Himawari. Naruto activates Sage Mode and fights Delta. Delta rushes at Naruto and tries to punch him several times, but Naruto manages to dodge all of these punches and then counters with his own punch. However, Delta dodges this. However, Naruto then smirks as she gets sent flying into a tree. This is because Naruto used Frog Kumite. Delta stands back up and starts using her beams. Naruto dodges all of these with ease when suddenly his Sage Mode runs out. Naruto then says, "Kurama, are you ready?" Kurama says yes as Naruto activates normal KCM2. Naruto then blitzes in front of Delta and stands there momentarily, which makes Delta use her light beam, which Naruto easily dodges. Naruto then uses a giant Rasengan on Delta, who absorbs it. However, Naruto continues feeding Delta chakra, which overwhelms her, causing the chakra absorber to stop working. Naruto then uses a final Rasengan, killing Delta. Kawaki and Boruto are absolutely amazed at how Naruto just fondled Delta so easily, as she is known as one of the stronger members in Kara. Naruto then schedules an immediate meeting with Sasuke, so he can discuss what has just happened with the Kara Elder Delta. The Kage now meet, and Sasuke as well. Naruto explains about the organization Delta and their agenda. The 5 Kage decide that they will need to work together in order to stop the world from being destroyed. Naruto ends up giving the information about the scientific ninja tool to the other Kage, as Kuretsuchi is being annoying about it. And with this, the Kage meeting ended. A couple of weeks later, Naruto would be with Sasuke, Kawaki, and Boruto when Jigen would appear. Jigen would tell Naruto that he needs to hand over Kawaki, and just like in canon, Naruto would say no, as Naruto thinks of Kawaki as his son. Naruto would then tell Sasuke to follow him if he doesn't come back within 10 minutes. Naruto is well aware of how strong Jigen is, and is prepared to possibly lose again. However, Naruto in this timeline is 3 times stronger without his Karma Seal, and almost 4 times stronger with it. Naruto would begin fighting Jigen, and as he understands his ability, and over the years he has been able to form a counter, and has also made his sensing ability so good that he can locate him. Naruto is holding back Jigen and lands a huge kick on him, forcing him to go 100%. Jigen then turns into Ishiki, and Naruto says, "I know all about Kaguya betraying you. You can have your rematch now." Naruto then activates his Karma Seal. This infuriates Ishiki, and he runs towards Naruto. However, Naruto manages to dodge this and lands a giant kick onto Ishiki, making him cough up blood. Naruto then rushes at Jigen and grabs his head, smashing it into his knee. Naruto then kicks Ishiki in the side, which sends him flying away. Ishiki then stands up and releases a giant amount of lightning from his dojutsu. Naruto then falls back to his knees as Ishiki goes to punch Naruto once again. However, Naruto sees this coming and counters with a huge uppercut, sending him flying back. Ishiki then uses the same attack, however Naruto is now ready for it. Naruto then easily dodges and rushes at Ishiki. As they clash fists. However, as they do this, Ishiki uses a truth-seeking staff and stabs Naruto. Naruto would cough up some blood and would create some distance between them. Sasuke would then appear from a portal and see Naruto injured and immediately go full power. Naruto would pull out a truth-seeking staff and throw it at Ishiki. However, Ishiki manages to dodge. Naruto would then put out a request for all the tailed beasts to meet immediately. The tailed beasts would immediately meet Naruto upon his request, and he would request for more of them to give him more chakra. They comply, and Naruto once again would create his own truth-seeking orbs. Naruto would then make the orbs into millions of small pins that float behind him. Ishiki is fighting Sasuke and Naruto now, and is getting overpowered. He then makes himself small once again and rushes at Naruto. However, due to Naruto knowing about this ability, he now has all the requirements to counter. Naruto then fires all the truth-seeking pins at Ishiki, and he gets impaled by one. He then makes himself large again, thinking that if he makes himself large, the damage will be reduced. However, due to Naruto having used a lot more just penetrate into him, causing him to bleed more. Naruto then uses the leftover pins to create a truth-seeking staff, and he smashes it into Ishiki's head, killing him. And now, he can't place a karma on anyone. For the next few years, Boruto and Kawaki would train with Naruto and Sasuke. However, because Kawaki isn't on a team, he gets trained more. Naruto also believes Kawaki would be a good rival for Boruto, so he lends him his chakra to grow faster. Naruto would give Kawaki half of his normal chakra, so he could train with 7,000 clones at once, rapidly progressing his power. They also figure out how to absorb the karma's power and make the karma disappear. And by the time Boruto is 16, he has become 20% stronger than fused Momoshiki. And Kawaki is also similar in strength. World peace has finally been achieved, as that was Naruto's dream, and Boruto is able to help Sasuke from the shadows, and Kawaki ends up becoming a Jonin instructor. The series would then end with Naruto being able to fulfill his final goals, and Sarada will eventually become Hokage. Boruto will investigate more into the Otsutsuki. However, due to the planet having been invaded by so many, and them all losing, the Otsutsuki have decided to leave Earth alone. Therefore, everything else stays the same. This is the end to part 7 of What If Naruto Became a Child Again. This is also the finale.